Not sleet, snow, or even the rain can stop them. We're not talking about the post office, but rather your Warriors. Even with heavy rain, the Warriors take home a second region win. We look at the game and look ahead to what's next. Plus, she's a beast in the classroom and on the court. We get to know volleyball's Hannah Drexel. And Coach Mark Freeman checks in as we enter week 3 of region play. That and a whole lot more after a word from our sponsors.
Shelby Fence Company is a name you can trust for outstanding fencing services in Shelby County and the nearby areas. We are the preferred contractor for fence installations, and you can depend on Shelby Fence Company to provide superior fencing and gate options, including chain link, aluminum, and wood.
Clothing, shoes, accessories, and gifts. G&G Loft has all that and more. We also offer a full line of Merle Norman makeup. Come let our staff help you pick the perfect piece just for you.
Hi, I'm David Stevenson, owner of SRS 10 Graphics. Our number one objective at SRS is providing you with the best products and services available. Visit our website and see why we don't say we're the best, our customers do.
Classic Nail Spa is proud to be one of the best nail salons in Alabaster. We will provide excellent service with all the new trends. Come relax and pamper yourself with us today.
Go Warriors!
Let's take back this yard!
Yeah!
Hold on, soldiers. There's an easier way to deal with mosquitoes and ticks. Wayne's Pest Control offers modern solutions that are safe and effective, so you don't have to battle them alone. It's best to just call Wayne's Pest Control.
Welcome back to the Weekly Warrior Preview. When it rains, you can run and wait for it to pass, or do like the Warriors did, embrace it, dance in it, and take home the win. This past Friday night's game didn't look as expected, but even with the band not in uniform, without some instruments and props, they kept the student section going as the Warriors took home a win in their region play. Matthew Moyer, the voice of the Warriors, joins us again. Matthew, welcome back.
Thank you.
And, we expected certain names as the season started, but a few I did not expect. We'll start with R.J. Evans.
Phenomenal start. Yeah, exactly. Incredible is a great way to put it. He is off to just an amazing start. Michael Dujon has started these games. RJ, there's no drop off. There's just been a really nice segue into him, and he has done a phenomenal job so far.
Anytime you have a stellar senior, you always wonder who's coming up next. And RJ's behind Dujon as a junior. I think that kind of gives you a bit of confidence that they're going to be okay next year.
I think they're going to be just fine at the running back spot, yes.
And of course, Jarrett Smith, we know he does incredible things, and he's, as you laugh, we get to know his name very well, leading that team in so many different ways on the field.
Yeah, I laugh because he has just been a game wrecker for these offenses. He is just phenomenal. His motor runs at a very high level, and it's just so much fun to watch him play. And during the broadcasts, I will even say to John, guess who? Number 4, and there he is again. Just, oh my gosh, it is so much fun to watch.
I know Auburn fans are ready to see him next year because he is definitely getting us kind of ready and primed for that coming up. Our offense is clicking a lot better.
It sure is.
Yeah, I mean, and you talked earlier, Trent's passes are they're looking flawless.
This past game, you could have put him in an NFL jersey.
That's some big words to say.
Well, if you go back and look at it, though,
yeah.
Take a look at some of those passes. The touchdown passes were amazing.
Right.
But some of the times where he had to scramble, maybe make a couple of plays, there was one, he is rolling out to his left. He is on the wrong foot, and it was just a perfect pass to the sideline. And I catch myself pinching myself. It's like, wait a minute, this guy is 15 years old. I have a 15-year-old, and I watch him play, and it's just the maturity level, the way that he leads this team. And I had a chance to talk to him before the game on Friday. So incredibly humble.
Which is important.
It is, and I think that's a big part of it. He gives the glory where it's due. He loves his team. He loves his coaches. And everything that he does on the field shows exactly that.
Well, that quarterback position, you have to win the locker room to trust you on the field. You have to have the football IQ to watch everything going around. It's just a lot. It's more than just who can run and who can throw the ball.
That's right.
I mean, you got to be a leader in so many different ways. And we've watched Trent grow from his 8th grade year now 10th grader. But to say he could be an NFL, that's huge to say.
Look at some of the throws. I know that sounds crazy, but look at some of the throws. They were right where they needed to be. The receiver is in stride. They're not having to make many adjustments. Certainly there are times where the receiver's going to have to adjust to the ball. It's raining, it's gusty, but for the most part, they were just right in stride, and it is so much fun to watch. I can't imagine it's all that much fun for opposing coaches to watch.
Probably not. We always know the Oak Mountain score the past few years has been a blowout, but now we go to Vestavia. Road games are always different.
They are.
Vestavia's had a little bit of a rough start, but they did okay Friday night.
They did. Charles Taff is their quarterback. Got to watch a little bit of that and read about it this week. That Hewitt-Trussville loss was a heartbreaker for them. But
he was good.
He was. They've been good all the way through. And the one thing that you can never overlook a team. You've got Clay Chalkville coming up in a couple of weeks.
For homecoming.
I guarantee you Coach Freeman is not letting them look past this game. At 1-3, this might be one of the better 1-3 teams in this state.
But you mentioned Clay Chalkville, and those players are probably thinking about last year on TV and that loss, and they're ready for revenge. But a good coach is like, hey, one day at a time, and he's probably not. Let's get past Vestavia first and see what happens.
Right.
Road, like I said, road games are always a challenge. It's not your home setting. It's a little bit different. The fans can pack. They always pack out to see Thompson, I feel like, to see what we have. And everybody wants that bright and white to say, we beat them in region play. So I feel like it has a little different weight on it than most games.
John and Tim and I talked about it off air this past Friday night. Thompson is everyone's Super Bowl. They are. If you can knock off the Warriors, it can make an entire season. And so that has to be an interesting position for our Warriors, knowing that every week you have to be on your game because you are your opponent's Super Bowl.
And what's that say whenever you didn't have that state championship last year, but yet you're still the one everyone wants to beat?
There's no doubt about it. And I think part of that is that Central Phoenix is just far enough away where it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. But we go in and we handle our business week after week in our region.
Right.
And we get everyone's Super Bowl effort.
I have to think those first two games, and we did it last year before, where we play opponents that we're not used to playing, that are good in their state, that has to get our guys ready, loss or win, for what's coming up in the season with region play.
No doubt about it. It gets their
It challenges
attention.
them.
Exactly.
I think it takes all complacency away at that point.
Gets their attention right out of the gate. They learn a lot about themselves. And starting off with Grayson and Lipscomb, you are now prepared for the rigors of Region 3.
Right, because I'm sure there are any surprises they showed them that night. So absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Matthew, you and the team Friday night, if they're not going, they can hear you guys on Warrior Nation Network. And also NFHS, just hit the one that says published by Thompson so they can see our video. Our guys do a fantastic job getting all the angles. You guys do a great job. And you have post game as well.
We do. We have a pregame and a postgame. Tim Melton does just an amazing job with the pregame, the halftime, and the postgame. And then two-time state champion John Lunsford. He is just a dream to work with. So both of those guys together, it's just been really neat. At the end of the game, Tim kind of caught me off guard this past Friday night, and he says, all right, so you're 4 games into your career at Thompson, having been at Oak Mountain for 7 years, how do you feel? I was trying to hold it together because I'm just so overwhelmed by the opportunity. As I mentioned on Friday night, our family is so incredibly grateful, and there's not a day that goes by that I'm not on my knees thanking God for this opportunity.
Well, now you're part of the Warrior family, so that's
so
just
much fun.
It is. They're always very welcoming, and we're glad to have you part of the Warrior family, and can't wait to see you after football season as some baseball, softball. I know you'll be calling lots of games coming up.
We're really looking forward to it. So it's just such a blessing.
Okay, coming up, a volleyball standout that you've got to know, Hannah Drexel. We're going to get to meet Hannah and find out why she decided to go to college close to home. Plus, Coach Mark Freeman checks in. That and a whole lot more after a word from our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ann Artavino, and I'm happy to share that we're providing oral appliance therapy for patients with obstructive sleep apnea. This is an FDA-approved appliance, so call us today for more information.
Brooklear Pharmacy is your hometown pharmacy, offering competitive prices on prescriptions, hormone replacement therapy, compounding, medical equipment, and immunizations. Brooklear Health Mart Pharmacy, dedicated to providing the best health care for our community.
Go Warriors!
Authentic Mexican cuisine right here in Alabaster. Combined with Sneaky Pete's hot dogs, this is a great place to stop in for a bite to eat. Online ordering and delivery is available at our Alabaster location.
Since 1980, Mr. Bug's Pest Control has remained one of Alabama's top pest control companies. From residential to commercial, we always strive to embrace our industry's latest and most current technology. We provide our customers peace of mind by knowing their pest and termite control needs are met.
Welcome back to the Weekly Warrior Preview. Thursday wasn't your normal day in school for students at Thompson High School. Students were able to take in a volleyball match as the volleyball team hosted Daphne at 1:30 during the day. On that team, Hannah Drexel, a senior, leading the way and saying Thompson has prepared her for much more than just success on the court. So as we get to know our volleyball players, we're going to start with Hannah Drexel, and I call you Drex because that's been your nickname. How did you get that nickname?
In 7th grade, Coach Tawny, my first ever volleyball coach, just started calling me Drex, and it's just kind of stuck since then, so yeah.
It stuck so much that I did not know Hannah was your first name.
Yes, a lot of people don't.
Now, this team this year is a younger team, and you're one of the seniors. What is it like knowing that this is going to be a growing season possibly for you guys?
It's really exciting because we get to see like where we started at and how we're going to finish. And it's nice to see that.
Now, away from this court, you're going to play in college. Where are you going to college?
Wallace State.
What made you decide to go there?
They have a really good nursing program, and I went and visited with the coach and the team and everything, and I just love the atmosphere there. It reminds me a lot like Thompson, so it kind of feels like home. So yeah.
I asked you what kind of nursing. You said pediatrics.
Yes, I love kids, so I like them a lot. Kids are just kind of, I've always been, I guess, drawn to them, the way they like. I like to see kids like develop and everything, so I think helping them out when they're sick is just kind of something that I'd be interested in.
I think that takes a lot of passion, a lot of heart. Now, you have a 4.5 GPA. That's impressive to be a student athlete and that. How have you balanced all that?
Honestly, it's been a lot of late nights of staying up, doing homework after games when we get done and go home at like 10 o'clock, and then I'm up till 12, and then that's pretty much what it is, just doing homework and just trying to stay on it.
Which means you'll be ready for college. Yes. The study habits will be there. Yes. Now, you're one of 4, but you're the only athlete in your family.
Yes.
How has that been for your family kind of growing up at the volleyball court for you?
It's been nice. It's been kind of interesting because, like, I was the first athlete, so none of my parents had ever been to games or anything. None of my siblings had either. And so I remember the first couple games, they'd all show up, and it's 5 of them sitting in the stands and everything, and it's just, yeah.
Ready to cheer you on the whole time, and they'll probably do it at Wallace State as well.
Yes.
So when you leave Thompson and someone says, do you remember Drex from volleyball? How do you want them to remember you?
I just want to remember me as being, like, a fun person and just always, go happy-go-lucky kind of.
I'm sure they will. Thanks so much. Next Tuesday night, Hannah and the rest of the seniors will be honored at senior night as the ladies host Tuscaloosa County at 6:30. As the football team dives deeper into region play, they're keeping their eyes on the end goal, reclaiming a state championship. As Christina Chambers found out, the goal comes down to the chemistry on and off the field.
Penalties, especially against Vestavia, they like to do a lot of trickery. So we've really been focusing on being disciplined, especially at the defensive line, keeping ourselves disciplined, watching the ball, not focusing on the fakes or any fake snaps, stuff like that. I would say it's our performances. Like, we haven't been satisfied with what we're doing, so now we realize that and we want to step it up ourselves. So different players just bringing more energy. So we've been playing on the same team ever since we were little kids. And when we were little, we never dreamed of being able to be teenagers and playing against such high-level competition. It's really been like a dream come true. Well, with us being such close age, we've really been like partners. Like, we've been friends, and we've been able to compete against each other forever. So we've always been working on getting each other better. And I feel like that's our best components, our hard workingness, like always trying to help each other get better. Yeah, it's really special. Like, we all love to come together, watch our games after we've played them. Like, we always want the best for each other. So what I do after we walk the field, we'll break it down, and I have this weird tradition where I'll like run on the field weird. I'll like twist and turn on the field, and then once I get to the 50-yard line, I'll just sprint as fast as I can to the other end zone. It's just one of my rituals that I like to do before a game, just to get the jitters out.
Have you ever not done it and you guys didn't play as well, or?
I've never not done it. Every time I've played, I always make sure I do it.
Well, I mean, I saw a whole bunch of improvement, from every position on offense, O-line, running backs, receivers, we have a lot of receivers, guys that are getting in, subbing in. I think that's really good for us. That's a big strength we have because, we don't have guys going out there for 5 consecutive plays and getting tired. We have guys that can sub them out, and guys can catch their breath, and they can get back right out there and go full speed every play. And our O-line, they did a great job, protecting. We were still able to run the ball really well. And I think that's what we need to focus on going into this week is being able to run the ball and also throw the ball too. Oh, I mean, Mike and RJ, they're some of the best running backs I've ever seen. And, there's still so much improvement to go on through the rest of the season. And I think the main thing where credit is due is, Coach Sutton, the running backs coach. When he came in earlier this year, he was already onto the running backs. He was attention to detail, getting them right on their technique and running the ball and reading the gaps and stuff like that. And I think that pays huge dividends to the running backs. And also our O-line, very great at run blocking. They're able to create holes for the running backs to run in. And then our running backs, can see the holes very well, and they attack them, and they're just very good at that. Now that I'm not like the youngest guy in the building, I'm now kind of an older guy, a veteran, I'm able to really speak vocally, make sure guys are, staying in the right places, doing the right thing. And I'm just trying to, be more vocal as a leader and getting guys to, do what's right, stay in line, like I said. And that's really the main thing. They have a great defensive coordinator and they have a great defensive scheme. But, we're just going to go out there, we're going to run our offense. We're not going to worry about anything too much, and then we're just going to do what we got to do. I mean, I'm like a really big history buff. I love to study history, especially like World War II era. That's my favorite part of history. I do all my book reports and research papers on all that. So I guess that's another thing. Just the amount of preparation that went into everything. I mean, it happened years in advance. Starting all the way back in World War I with the whole Franz Ferdinand assassination. It started from back there, and the end of World War I leading into World War II, and all the stuff happening in Europe and Asia and the Pacific Ocean. It's just so many pieces that fall into place and so many puzzles that fit together to make such a huge plan to execute.
So do you kind of translate that into your football when you're in the film room, kind of?
I mean, it's kind of the same thing, throughout the season, we're working on things here and there, and all of a sudden you realize that they all add up to, the playoffs and getting to state too.
When we come back, Coach Mark Freeman takes us inside the Warriors practice as he tells us the goals the team has before kickoff Friday night. You're watching the Weekly Warrior Preview.
At Total Roofing, we understand the importance of a sturdy and reliable roof. Whether you're dealing with roof repair, restoration, shingle replacement, storm damage, or a pesky roof leak, we've got you covered. Call Total Roofing at 205-432-8395. Buddy's Barbecue, a family-run staple in Alabaster since 1976. We make barbecue the old-fashioned way and serve it with our handmade sides.
From the class of 89.
From 87.
From 83. First state champs.
Always a warrior.
Better Lawn and Gardens. We're located right here in Alabaster. We specialize in weed control and fertilizing, landscape lighting, lawn maintenance, and landscaping. We love serving our neighbors in Alabaster. Reach out for your free quote.
Go Warriors!
Hi, I'm Jacob with Duck Doctor USA. If you would like a healthier home, give us a call today at 205-980-0800. Or check us out on the web at duckdoctorbirmingham.com.
Duck Doctor says, Go Warriors!
Welcome back to the Weekly Warrior Preview. It doesn't matter how much of a blowout the score is, any coach will tell you every week there's something to improve on, including Coach Mark Freeman.
I thought we got better in a lot of areas. Special teams was really good. Offensively, we came out, started the game really good. There again, we had a week where we went up 14-0, and go to sleep on defense. And I hate to keep harping on it, but I have to deal with that as head coach. You know, where are we getting? We're 14-0 that we go to sleep 2 weeks in a row and get the game 14-7. We got to get that fixed. And like I said, I think it was a 15-play drive. Had about 5 penalties on that drive. So we got to get that fixed to be really good. We're not where we have been this time of year the last 5 or 6 years, but I think we've got a chance to be really good if we just continue to work. And the kids have done that. We've had 2 really great weeks of practice. So we should play good this Friday. Maybe a maturity level, discipline as far as on the field discipline, knowing situations. Are they going to try to get you to jump off sides? You know, are they going to try to, and do they succeed in doing that? You know, is there a questionable play that you're going to go ahead and take a chance of getting a penalty to extend a play or a drive on 3rd down? Just football knowledge, you know, and it's on both sides of the ball. It's not just on defense, but I think our kids, we got to get better and we got to understand football more. You always have to prepare for all the little things they do, trying to jump you off sides, moving around on defense at the last minute, doing things on offense that, you know, out of a tempo pace type deal situation. There's a lot to prepare for, and they're well coached. They're a good football team, and they play hard. So it's one of them games. We got to go to their stadium, and it's a region win. We got to go in there and find a way to win. I just want to see him continue to make smart decisions. There's a lot of opportunity for him to make decisions before the play, that he's got another option to get us to another play. You know, it could be run to pass to run, but he's very smart, and he's doing a good job as far as leading our team offensively. And like I said, we play some teams that would rather us run the ball. In the last 2 weeks, we've been able to really do a great job running the football. And I think down the road, we have to run the football to have a chance to be really good. And like I said, I think our running game, our offensive line is getting better every week. And I think we play great defense. I just think we've had a mental lapse, like the third series of the game or something, and just mentally get that fixed. But our defense is, man, they've played great all year, truthfully, except for a drive or 2 in the game. And offensive line's getting better, and so I see progress, you know, so that's something to be encouraged about.
It's now time for the DL on the Warriors. We begin with cross country, where the ladies are now in the top 10 for 7A. Their next race is this weekend in Gulf Shores. To baseball, where Ian Hillary has announced he will play for Alabama State next year. And to softball, where first base Kaden Bush has announced she will join the team at South Alabama after Thompson. That's going to do it for us here on the Weekly Warrior Preview. Thank you for joining us each and every week, and thanks to our sponsors who make the show possible. We'll see you Friday night in Vestavia.
Hey there, Alabaster. When you're injured and you need someone to fight for your rights, turn to the name you can trust, Sean Capps Injury Law. At Sean Capps Injury Law, we're not just attorneys, we're your neighbors, your advocates, and your partners in justice. Got questions about a personal injury, wondering what your case is worth? We've got the answers. Visit our website at www.capsinjurylaw.com or call us at 205-955-5555 for a free case evaluation. And here's the best part, you won't pay us a dime unless we win your case. That's our promise to you.
Warrior Express Texaco is your one-stop shop for all your convenience needs. From ice-cold beverages to their delicious Hunt Brothers Pizza, Warrior Express has everything you need to get Warrior ready this football season. Locally owned and operated, their friendly staff is second to none. Each of their 10 fueling stations is equipped with 5 types of fuel, including non-ethanol and diesel, available at every pump. Fuelman is accepted and buses are welcome. For unbeatable mileage, put some Techron in your tank today. Go Warriors!
Poto's Boutique is a proud sponsor of Thompson Athletics. Ladies, are you looking for a casual and cute outfits, accessories, or the newest fashion trends? Poto's has you covered. Follow us at Poto's Boutique on Facebook and Instagram, or stop by our store on Highway 31 in Calera.
And welcome in, everybody. Broadcasting live from Vestavia Hills, Alabama tonight. I'm Tim Melton. It's an honor to be here again for the Warrior Nation Network as your official host all season long. We're counting down the minutes until your Thompson Warriors once again take the field as this feared Alabaster squad looks to notch their third straight region win of the season tonight, following a big-time win on the road 2 weeks ago at Tuscaloosa County and another one a week ago at home versus Oak Mountain. Each and every week you see teams trying their hardest to take down Thompson. This time it'll be Vestavia Hills' chance as the Rebels will try their hardest to score on a very tough Warriors defense that has played its heart out week after week with an offense that's put up 40-plus the past 2 games and is now ready to test itself in region play on the road in front of a fired-up Vestavia crowd that's hopeful for a huge upset. Tonight's broadcast and all Warrior Nation Network broadcasts are brought to you by Central State Bank. Central State Bank is the official banking partner of Thompson Athletics. Are you looking for a local banking partner to meet your personal, business, or mortgage needs? Look no further than Central State Bank. Call or stop by a branch today. I can't go any further without bringing in the voice of the Warriors, Matthew Moyer. Matthew, I think we are finally in a situation where weather and travel conditions will not be a major storyline, and it's nice to have some normalcy on a Friday night.
Tim, it certainly is. It's great to be with you again this week, and you are exactly right. It is a beautiful night for Region 3 football, no doubt about it.
Matthew, I feel like these are 2 programs within the region that have very different stories. One looking to remain dominant and protect their identity, with the other looking to finally pull the big upset and further establish an identity. This has not been a series that has gone the Rebels' way here as of late.
Nope, you're absolutely right. And a few minutes ago, I was next door exchanging pleasantries with the Vestavia Hills broadcast crew. He said, Matthew, we have 8 starters either not going or going to play very little. So he was worried, to say the least. It is, over the last 5 meetings, Thompson has outscored Vestavia Hills 159-50. And with that news, I'm not sure that's going to change much this evening.
Matthew, last week Thompson kicked off an hour earlier than expected in Alabaster, and they secured their 2nd region win of the year and 3rd overall win in a row. It was an extremely wet game down on the field of play. It really can't be understated how battle-tested this Thompson team is just a few weeks into the season. What was your biggest takeaway from the Oak Mountain game 1 week ago?
Just the togetherness. They're really, 4 games in, you can really see things starting to gel. And I know that that's what Coach Freeman and that entire staff have been looking for. They're really rallying around each other. They're starting to feed off of one another. They're learning each other's tendencies. That was my biggest takeaway.
Even with the lopsided win, Coach Freeman has had some things on tape that he's been working to clean up with his team. I know he loves to stay engaged with his messaging, and it feels like to me that he very much has the attention to detail needed to garner the full attention of his players and staff.
Yep, you're exactly right there. And speaking of that weather, we've had one game where we would consider it normal, and that was probably in the first week of the year. Second. Rainy affairs. And so here tonight, perfect night for him to have their undivided attention. There's not weather in the way. There's nothing in the way. Let's stay focused on what Coach Freeman and his staff have to say, and let's get the job done and move on.
Let's go ahead and talk about some of those weather conditions in tonight's contest, as it's currently 78 degrees here in Vestavia Hills and a welcomed 0% chance of rain tonight, with winds staying below 5 miles per hour. This report is brought to you by Rentalmen. At Rentalmen, it's their goal to be your best choice for large and small equipment rental and sales, with locations in Calera, Pell City, Decatur, and Tuscaloosa. They can serve all residential and commercial customers across the state of Alabama. Call them today for all of your equipment needs. It is time now to bring in 2-time state champion, Mr. John Lunsford, our Warrior Nation Network color analyst. John, we are definitely not in the friendly confines of Warrior Stadium this time around. For those that maybe have never taken a trip out here to Vestavia Hills, how would you best describe the things that stand out to you from the stadium itself?
They have a very tall home section. It is a very long walk up those stairs. It has always been that way. But as far as the actual playing surface, the actual environment, this is a place I played back when I was at Homewood. Vestavia, always a longtime rival until this year of Mountain Brook and Homewood. Played them every year and dropped that one. So they're trying to expand their non-region schedule. But for the teams that are used to coming here, like Thompson, like Hoover, like Hillcrest, or not Hillcrest, like Hewitt, it's a familiar environment, but still a tough one to play. Vestavia has a proud heritage of football, and actually one of the first teams around here to install the turf that we typically see in most football fields now, like there is at Warrior Stadium and pretty much everywhere else. And actually got to play on this turf before Vestavia did because of when it was installed. We had practice out here at Homewood back my senior year. So it's been about 20 years here, and they're innovative in some ways. Their baseball field was one of the first baseball fields to also have that turf on there. It's a typical high school football stadium. It's overall a good place to play, but it's a place that Thompson has had a lot of success lately.
John, Hall of Famer Buddy Anderson is a legend in this part of town and in Alabama high school athletics altogether. You know Buddy Anderson's impact very well, having both played during that time and covered the sport during that time. What was that Buddy Anderson era like compared to the recent seasons that the Rebels have had?
I think if you want to compare Buddy Anderson to a coach, you don't necessarily go to somebody like Bear Bryant, Joe Pod, those older coaches. I think Bobby Bowden's probably the best coach to compare him to, and obviously has that Sanford lineage as well, where he came from Sanford. I played with Bob Newton, who was right there with Buddy Anderson, really, really good friends. Like I said, as much as Homewood and Vestavia played each other, they both came from Sanford as well. So there's a lot of Sanford in Vestavia, and Sanford, a pretty decent football lineage as well. And he had a lot of success. He had some down years, and towards the end, probably more down years than not. But I think that had to do with Class 7A as opposed to 6A, the way the system used to be in the old 6 classification system before 2014 hit. And, I think people kind of remember the end of Vestavia in the last decade or so as not quite being that good. But once Buddy Anderson left a few years ago, then you had to try to find that replacement, I think. I think they've found that replacement. They had to go through a couple of coaches. But this is a team that, like I said, has a proud history when it comes to football. And even though they don't have a long list of state championships like Thompson now has, like a school like Hoover has, they definitely are a team that competes year in, year out, and give Hoover everything they want, Thompson everything they want. Despite the score that Matthew read out, that is the score, but every game's so much closer to that, and that's the kind of brand that Buddy Ball was, and it's the kind of brand that Robert Evans is trying to bring back here.
John, this game tonight serves up another opportunity for Thompson to cement themselves within the region. Every single game has weight to it, but especially when you're lined up across from a region opponent that wants to do everything that they can to stop your momentum as defending region champ. This is a team in the Warriors that have a target consistently on their back.
They do, and really the team that probably took the hardest aim last year was Vestavia, because Hewitt is always in the mix. Hoover, despite last year and despite the offseason issues this year, always in the mix. But Vestavia is the team that really made their name known last year. And even though the score ended up being 21-3 last year, only putting up 21 points is not the kind of high-powered offense we're typically used to seeing from Thompson until they play a team like Hoover. But Vestavia, they've had good defenses. They've had good offenses, but John Paul Head graduating last year I think is a massive, massive loss for them.
Huge.
And
we saw him twice last year.
And let me say this, they had that success because of a guy like that, but a lot of people don't necessarily look at the X's and O's. They see the team, and they see that Thompson is Thompson, Hoover is Hoover, Hewitt is Hewitt, and Vestavia is Vestavia. Vestavia's having to rebound from that, and I think their record shows that this year. So a lot of people just see the record and are kind of confused, kind of like Hoover last year. But this is a region contest that, should it be even close, people will say, oh, well, Vestavia is at least competing in the region. They got to win last week. They played Hewitt down to the last second. They played Thompson potentially close to where, the back half of their schedule has some tough teams. They still got to play rival Hoover, but there's some wins there, too, to where they can still potentially sneak in and be a playoff team.
John Lunsford has tonight's starting lineup presented by Abide Roofing. At Abide Roofing, they understand that your home is your most valuable asset, and they're committed to protecting it with top-quality roofing solutions. Whether you need roof repairs, replacements, or installations, their team of experienced professionals deliver exceptional service and lasting results. John, who are we set to see under the lights tonight?
Let's start on offense with that starting lineup. Of course, Trent Seaborn is the leader there at quarterback. The sophomore has steadily improved every single game this season, looks to improve again today. Michael Dujon has played really well the last few weeks. Didn't really need him last week, but the 2 games before that, incredible game there at running back. On the offensive line, you have Baron Criddle at left tackle, A.J. Williams at left guard, Dylan Marcus at center, Braden Saylor at right guard, Parker Millstat at right tackle. The wide receivers tonight, Derek Kimbrough, the freshman starting wide receiver, Price Lewis, our player of the game last week. Incredible game last week to really, get those stats up, and I think he's the leading receiver right now for the team. Darian Mosley, the sophomore wide receiver, and Trey Knight, the junior, will start at wide receiver as well. On defense for Thompson, up front, of course, Jared Smith has been an absolute monster on that defensive front. Great blitzing, leading the team in tackles for losses, and just been really, really good. Nick Austin and Hayden McDonald really good inside on that defensive line. Cam Pritchett as well. A lot of names we've called a lot this season on the defensive line. At the linebacker position, Trent McCorvey, Trent Cheatham, and Vinny Pyers, the leading tackler overall on this team. He is literally everywhere on the field and is always running to the ball. An incredible linebacker there for Thompson. And at defensive back, Anquan Fagans, of course, the name everybody knows, Peyton Lewis, DeMonte Tab, and Micah Fleming rounding out the defensive backfield.
That's the Abide Roofing starting lineup. Call today for all of your roofing needs, 205-941-6223. There's so much more to get into here on the Warrior Nation Network in mere moments as we are set to see the Thompson Warriors take the field against the Vestavia Hills Rebels. It's happening very soon. We'll have more right here on the Warrior Nation Network straight ahead.
Please remain standing. I'm Dr. Michael Patterson, orthopedic surgeon specializing in sports medicine. I've been fortunate since I've been in Alabaster to be the team physician for Thompson High School. Been there 14 years. Basically take care of the athlete, and that includes ankle sprains to shoulder injuries to neck and back injuries that occur during sports. We also have training room out of those schools. We're there to evaluate their injuries and make sure they can safely return to sports, and we try to provide, again, the best care anywhere in the country at Thompson High School. Go Warriors! Thank you. Now please remain standing for the playing of the
And
Hills High
what a
School
beautiful
Memorial.
rendition of our national anthem there by the Rebel Band. Welcome back into our pregame show here on the Warrior Nation Network. We have introduced both Matthew and John here on the broadcast. Down on the field for us this evening is our sideline reporter, Christina Chambers. Welcome back in, Christina, for another week of Thompson Warriors football.
Well, good afternoon, guys. You know, one of the things that I talked to head coach Mark Freeman about this week is he says that this is one of the toughest places to play because, one, you're always going to get Vestavia's best, and two, the crowds, the fans, the cheering. He says it's a really tough place to play when you're on the road. As for the Thompson team this week, coach says he's not happy with the way this team has been compared to years past, he said, but they're improving each and every week, and that's what he wants to see. He said on defense, obviously, they've kind of fell asleep a little bit the past 2 weeks. He said, but the past 2 weeks at practice, there's been a lot of energy. They've been more excited, and he can tell a difference last week and this week at practice, and he hopes it pays off on the field here tonight.
Christina's always bringing the energy for us there on the sidelines, and we appreciate her reporting here on the Warrior Nation Network. It's now time for Keys to Victory, presented by Encore. Our thanks to the Encore sports medicine athletic trainers and physical therapists for providing our athletic training coverage today and every day. Encore is the official sports medicine and rehabilitation provider for Thompson Athletics and the Alabama High School Athletic Association. John, where are we starting there with number one?
Number one, stretch the field vertically. This team has been really good at running the ball all season, but last week showing that passing game especially before the rain came in. Trent, 11 of 16, 195 yards, 4 touchdowns, and did have a pick there. But overall, his best passing night, and I think this offense is starting to expand in the passing game, so you need to definitely early on stretch that field vertically. Number 2, stop the run of Vestavia. That's always been their strength, is running the ball. It's always been very, kind of 3 yards in a cloud of dust, even though you don't really have dust on a turf field like this. But it's been very much run downhill football, and the quarterback has always been a really good runner here. It's not just the running back. So you have to be able to stop the run, but with that, you have to play very physical football up front. And that's where Thompson has ultimately been successful over the years. The defensive front especially has played so well. I can remember Peter Woods playing really good in the game here at Rebel Stadium a couple of years ago and basically being the catalyst to stop John Paul Head, their quarterback, from running, getting an interception and a pick 6 there. So play physical football, especially when it comes to the front 5 on offense and that front 4 on defense.
All right, good stuff there. We are getting so close to kickoff here. It's now time to go ahead and get our main broadcast started. We appreciate you being here for the pregame show. Make sure you stick around after the broadcast tonight for the postgame show, and of course, we'll keep you up to date on everything there with the halftime show. I'm Tim Melton. We're about to hear from the voice of the Warriors himself, Mr. Matthew Moyer.
Welcome to Thompson Warrior Football, a legacy of excellence.